as an acronym ROY, ROY. So the first section is done. Communication is about relationships. Now we are going to move on to the next one, outcomes. Communication is about outcomes, about the results that you get, about the goal or purpose of communication. So everything that we do, we need to be aware of what is it that we want out of this. I have been training lots and lots of people to become trainers. I've been doing faculty development program, and there we used to give people a particular topic on which they would be presenting, and then we would be giving them feedback on how they did. And one of those people had the topic of communication. And when he was taking the session, he said, everything that you do is communication. And I was like, my God, what an epiphany that is. The way you are sitting, the way you are talking, if you're sleeping, whether you are going somewhere or not going somewhere, you are conveying a message. To be aware of what I am doing and the message that I'm conveying through this, what a degree of self-awareness that is going to be. And that was wonderful. From my own training, I was hearing this powerful message that everything that we do is communication. And therefore, it is very, very, very important that we should be aware of what is the outcome that we want from this particular communication. Only when we are aware, we'll be going in that direction in which we want to go. Otherwise, we might be conveying messages unknowingly. And those messages may not be the messages that we actually want to send to others. So that is why it is very important that we know, and this is a very, very key principle, to be aware of what is the outcome that we want out of the communication. Here you see on the screen the diagram that John Adair shares in his book, Effective Communication, the Most Important Management Skill of All. In a communication, all of you know, there will be how many people at least? Okay, so many of you are writing there are two people. Yes, there can be two people. They can also be one person. There can be a communication with me too. But then let us say that within me, there is a receiver and there is a sender. So communicator or sender, one person is the sender of the message and the other person is the receiver of the message, sender of the message, receiver of the message. And there is a particular situation that is there. In that particular situation, what is it that you want? That is the aim, the goal of the communication, the purpose of the communication. When you are aware of what is the goal, what is the purpose, what is it that you want out of that communication, you will be able to decide the content. That is, what is it that you are going to say or do? What is the content and in what way? Method is in what way are you going to do that? So, supposing you are the communicator and there is a certain other person who is the receiver, there is a particular situation. Once you are aware of the goal that you want to achieve through this communication, you will be able to decide what to say, what not to say, and how not to say. So please keep this in mind. And based on this diagram from John Adair, we are going to take the next part of this section. So aim is something that is like the North Star. Whatever I am doing is communication. Whatever I am doing is taking me towards a particular direction. It is important to know, is it taking me to that direction? In which direction I want to go, or is it taking me in some other direction? Let us take certain examples. What happens on the road? I have lived in Delhi for a long time. Okay, Delhi is notorious, but it may be happening in many other Indian cities. People even kill each other because of anger on the road. Because of something that has happened, they shout, they fight, even to the extent that people have been killed, shot. God, look at it. Is it even worth it to engage in an argument, to get heated up, to allow all those hormones and chemicals to build up in your body? Just think of yourself. Supposing you are going to office on the road and there is somebody who comes and cuts you, somebody who takes you takes over you from the wrong direction. And you get very angry. You decide that you will cut that other person, cut that person. You drive very fast, you cut that other person, stop them, and shout at them. Is it worth it? Is that your aim at that point in time? Is that your aim in the situation? When you take a moment, take time and think using your prefrontal cortex, then you will find that I am unnecessarily in this particular situation getting too angry and upset. What the other person is doing is about them. What I am doing is about me. And then you might decide to completely ignore and move ahead. Think what you want. What is the aim? Even in, small interactions, sometimes even I make mistakes a number of times and then I realize I shouldn't have done that. So, marketplace is the next example I am taking. I had ordered a lipstick from Amazon, and what I received instead was a canary yellow colored wallet. And I was like, what have they sent me? Why have they sent me this? And I don't need this. Why is it here? I don't like that color and I didn't want that and I needed the lipstick because I don't have many. There will be just two shades and one of each shade, and one was coming to be finished and I needed that. And so what I did was I started calling Amazon helpline. And then they were saying, no, this can't be replaced because it is cosmetic. Then I said, but you sent me the wrong products. It didn't work out. So I called two people. It didn't work out. Finally, called again a third time I called. And then they said, Madam, we won't be able to send you the lipstick, but we won't also be able to pick up the wallet. It is of a small amount, less than 500 rupees. And then I was thinking, why did I engage into this argument at all? Just for something which was between 3 to 400 rupees, I had spent 2 hours of my time, 2 hours or more of my time, and in the process, I had gotten angry and upset, and that would have taken away a lot of my productive time. So, was it worth it? What was the aim? What was the aim? To shout? To just show my anger? What was the aim? The aim was to get a simple lipstick. I could have got it from somewhere else. But I decided to shout at them and waste my own time. Think about what is the aim of each communication. In a meeting, and I want to take a little bit of time explaining the meeting part because all of you leaders, you hold meetings and you also attend meetings. A lot of the time, what happens that you start with an agenda point, yet the meeting goes on and on and on and endlessly. I have known meetings being carried on for 2 days, 3 days, everyone shouted at, and at the end of the meeting, nobody knows what are the actions to be taken. How many of you find this to be true? Okay, somebody is saying all the time. Yes, so true. Yes, everyone is saying it's so true. That is what happens a lot of the time because people are not clear about the aim of the meeting. The aim of the meeting is not to spend time there and shout at people. The aim of the meeting may be to achieve certain targets, certain sales targets, to put some systems in place, to give feedback to some people, and that can be done very effectively in a limited time. And at the end of the meeting, you need to be able, you have to actually ensure that everyone knows what their action points is. You need to summarize it. So one way is that you summarize it and you tell them that Mr. Ram, this is what you need to do by this time. Mr. Avinash, you need to be doing this by this time. Miss Bela, you need to be doing this by this time. Miss Rita, you need to be doing this by this time. But there is something even better, and which is two-way communication, which we'll discuss in some later session. Instead of you telling them what you expect of them, ask them, because all of that discussion has already taken place in the meeting. So you now ask them. So, Mr. Ram, what is your action plan and by when are you going to deliver this? Miss Bela, what is your action plan and when are you going to give the delivery? When are you going to give the results? And so on. So that you know that they have understood what is the action that they have to take. And you'll also have the opportunity, if there is a gap in that understanding, to fill that gap. So if they're missing out something, you can tell them now. So start the meeting with an agenda and not a lot of points, only a few points. And here I want to share an example. So start with a few points. Keep your focus on those few points only, 3 to 5, not more than that, and conclude with those 3 to 5 points. I am reminded of a top executive who was heading an entire state for a very big company. And that person used to continue the meetings for entire days, and he used to get really angry, and he would try to assert his authority in the meeting by being aggressive and shouting at people. And so many agenda points were there, 15 agenda points. And I used to be doing research, talking to people because I'm interested in leadership and what kind of leadership behaviors are getting results. And people from that particular state had come to me and they were saying that people are quite frightened and the results aren't great. Just after that, another person took over. And then that person who had talked to me earlier came again, and then we had a chat. And he was saying, and this was one Mr. Rao, and says, Mr. Rao does not have at in any meeting more than 5 agenda points. And in fact, it can be even better if you have only 3 agenda points. And he discusses on that, and he never gets angry or aggressive. And at the end of every meeting, people know what is it that they're expected to do. Can you do this in your meetings? Keep the agenda points limited, because the human brain cannot focus on too many things at the same time. The focus will get dissipated. Focus on the most important things, let them remain limited, and ensure from your team members that they know what is to be done. Then, when it is a friendship, think, what is the aim? You just want to enjoy some happy time. You want to share some challenges. You want to share your pains. What is it that you want to do? Be aware of the aim. When it is your relationship with a child, I was taking one example where your child maybe is watching TV. Think about what is your ultimate aim in this parent child relationship. What is it? Is it your goal that you must be very tough and discipline them? Is it that you want to be a loving and guiding parent who is also a role model? What is your goal? What is your aim? How do you want your children to shape up, both emotionally and as human beings, in career, everything? Think about what is your aim. Be very clear about the aim. A spouse relationship, now that is the spicy one. Spouse is the singular of spice. Did you know that? Just joking. Yeah, but that is a spicy relationship. Some bickering, some argument, some disagreements keep happening in this relationship. Think, what is the aim of this relationship? Why are you in a marriage? What is the purpose of marriage? The purpose of marriage is to live happily. The purpose of marriage to live in love. The purpose of marriage is to live with affection. Yet what happens that small things become sources of disagreement, bitterness, and long drawn bitterness even. Why did you keep the towel, wet towel on the bed? And that becomes a source of disagreement. Is it worth it? Even I make such mistakes. So just the other day, my husband is a stickler for switching off all lights and fans which are not in use. And just yesterday, he was saying this to me, and I lost my cool and I said, Bhai, please, chance se rehne do. I need not have responded in that way. I need not have reacted in that way. I could have just smiled away, or I could have said sorry and switched off the lights and all that. But we make these mistakes. And because of that little bit of disagreement, we had a fight for 2, 3 minutes. Of course, cool off again. I am trying to become more and more aware of my behavior and the aims that I have from any communication. But this is what happens. Small things, we make them big. We make a mountain out of a molehill and we dwell on that. What is the aim? चाहिए क्या वहां से? Let us focus on that. Once we focus on that, we will not be distracted. It is like You are sitting in the office, you are getting ready for a presentation, you're preparing a presentation, you're working very hard on that, and at that point in time, somebody calls and you get distracted. There is some Instagram reel which notification comes on your phone and you start looking at that. Don't get distracted by things which are not adding value to you, to your relationship. Don't get distracted by things which take you away from your aim. Sometimes you might be. Everyone will be. We are human. Let us be kind to ourselves. But being aware that this is the direction in which you want to go, even when you get distracted, now and then you will come back to your path. And that is what we want for each and every one of us. So, spouse relationship had to be discussed. Even in public speaking, if you are aware of the aim, what is the result that the audience and I want out of this public speaking session? What is the result that we are looking for? What is it that the audience want out of it? Once you think of that, you will prepare well and you will deliver well. You will be aware that the audience wants this and the audience does not want. Why do most public speakers fail? Because they haven't done their research on this, on what the public wants. Find out what the public wants, and then you will be able to deliver according to them with confidence, adding value to them, because you would have prepared for it, because you know the aim and purpose and goal of it. Okay, so with that, we are coming to the conclusion of the second principle, which is about outcomes. So, number one principle, communication is about relationships. Number two principle, communication is about outcomes. Be aware of outcomes. And the third principle, which we're going to talk about now, is communication is about you.